With this, we move to the next panel discussion of the day. That is again based on the same topic, that is making power utilities efficient and resilient through innovation. So you can say that we have divided this panel discussion in two halves with the same topic so that we can have more representation from the DISCOM, GENCOs and transmission companies as well as industry. And for that, I would like to invite Sunil C. Namboodiripad, Managing Director of ONGC Tripura Power Company Limited. A huge round of applause for him, please. Thank you so much for joining us today. I request Mr. Sunil Agarwal, Director Projects, Bihar Power Transmission Company Limited. We welcome Sunil ji. I request Abhijit Das, AGM IT and Smart Metering, Assam Power Distribution Company Limited. Okay, he'll be joining us later in the day. May I request Shorojit Ghosh, Director IT, UP Power Corporation Limited, to come on stage, please. He was shocked to see the vulnerability of data mobile phone by Nikhil ji. And I will again like to invite Satyajit Dwivedi, Regional Director, EMEAP, Energy Utilities, Mining and Metals, Public Sector SAS. So, without taking, in this panel, I think we have we'll have little bit divergent views as well, because other than DISCOM, other energy companies also here. So let me start with Mr. Sunil C. Namboodiripad, who is the Managing Director of ONGC Tripura Power Company Limited. So if I may ask you that, if you can shed some light on various initiatives taken by your organization to improve the energy efficiency in the power plants in your state. If you can kindly.
All right. Thank you. Thank you so much. Thanks for inviting me here. It's really a pleasure to be here. And really wonderful discussions going on. And I come from OTPC, ONGC Tripura Power. We supply electricity to all the 7 northeastern states. We also own and operate a transmission line. And now we are also diversifying into renewable energy. We recently had an agreement with Assam DISCOM for a battery storage project, as well as with Orissa for a wind project. So these are the activities that we are working on. And with respect to our particular power plant, this was set up as a initiative of ONGC and IL&FS to monetize the gas reserves available in Tripura. And this was an advanced class GE gas turbines, GE 9FA machines. And why it was selected was due to 2 reasons. One was the emission levels. These are high efficient and very low emission machines. The emission from the gas turbine or the exhaust emissions are less than 10 ppm. So the SOx, NOx emissions. So that was one of the major reasons, because northeastern region being pristine and without any pollution, we wanted to have a plant where it is almost zero emissions. At that time, renewables had not really caught up on. It was somewhere in 2004, 2008. And Northeast is short of renewables. So this was one aspect why this plant was designed on 9FA machines. And the second is the efficiency. These are high efficient, more than 50% efficiency compared with coal-based power plant. These are very high efficiency. And to improve upon that, again, we take a lot of measures. And especially, we have been discussing about the data and the data analytics. So recently, we implemented a gas turbine monitoring system, the Blade Health monitoring system. This was sort of an early warning system for us, because these 9FA machines, gas turbines of GE, had a failure history at some projects. This was analyzed, and the reason was the airflow dynamics that is happening in the gas turbine. To protect these gas turbines from that, or to take an early warning and to take a decision to do the rectification work, we implemented this Blade Health monitoring system. It captures data on an instantaneous basis from the rotational dynamics of the machine. And this is analyzed on a continuous basis, and we are able to predict whether a fault can happen or not. So this is the power of data analytics, which I think the previous speakers were also telling. So I worked earlier also in I worked in private sector for some time. There we implemented gathering the data from a set of power plants. And when you say gathering the data, it is like 1 lakh tags, 1 lakh power points, 1 lakh data points. When you capture that from various plants across India, the challenges, like you mentioned, are first to capture it first from the SCADA. And when you capture that from the SCADA, you need again have a proper segregation of the plant network and the IT network. Then transferring it all to a centralized station. And we did that, in fact, and brought it all to one place where this data was continuously analyzed with a specialized software where, like you said, we need also the SMEs. Because without an SME, without a specific team working on the data, I think no software supplier can finally give you the output. So this was captured, and we always used to get some pop-ups telling this machine is having a problem. So what you're doing is, every plant has got a trip value or a failure value. So you get this data, and much before you reach the failure value, suppose the tripping happens at, say, 100 microns, the vibrations. This will give you even at, and generally you know that a machine operates at 10 microns. So it's like a expert operator looking at the data. I'm supposed to get only 10. Why it has gone to 15? That alarm comes to us. So it gives us an early warning. And this has been a very beautiful tool to prevent failures. Of course, efficiency monitoring and all also can be done, which we do regularly. That's again part where you do efficiency monitoring as well as set the early warning systems.
Right. So it's like predicting and preventing.
Absolutely. This is predictive analytics sort of.
That's how data can be of help. Data analytics can be of help. I'll come to Mr. Sunil Agarwal. He's the Director Projects of Power Transmission Company of Bihar. Mr. Sunil, if I may ask you, in terms of transmission companies, what according to you is the main challenge when it comes to leveraging technology to analyze data? Your thoughts on that?
Yeah, because the grid is becoming more and more. So it is an integrated grid, and it is becoming more and more complex because the network is length is increasing day by day. So we have implemented this wide area measurement basically. So earlier we were relying on the SCADA, so where the latency is around 10 to 20 seconds. But with the wide area measurements phasers, now you can get around 20-25 data per second. So that is very faster predictions, and so that we can do some predictive analysis for that. So we have developed some software for that. I'm telling that this is a countrywide solutions being developed by the Power Grid Corporation of India. It is not by the Bihar state, but definitely that is a big challenge. How you can, again, this is a remote control of the substations, so that you can make the substations very intelligent. And the asset monitoring, basically all this transformers and all that things, you can monitor the parameters. Now the thing is going for dynamic load balancing of the lines. So depending on the sag and all that things of the transmission lines, you can decide how much current can flow through that line. And now the new technologies are coming because to construct a new line is becoming difficult day by day. And especially like the state like Bihar, where the density of population is too high. So to construct a new line is very, very difficult. So now we have gone for, Bihar is the state which has gone for, in a big way, for STLS conductor, high temperature, low sag conductor, so which increases the line capacity by around 2.5 times with the same corridor. And similarly, Bihar is pioneer for the prepaid smart meters. Now we are listening to all key prepaid smart meters is being installed across the country. But Bihar started with the prepaid meters in 2019. And today also, Bihar is the only state which has installed more than 30 lakhs meters are working. And again, definitely this challenge will be there for the data challenge. But again, one more thing, what I say for this thing is, let's say Bihar particular state, where the 90% is the domestic consumers. So definitely today or tomorrow, we have to think from the consumer point of view, also for the time of the day metering sort of thing, so that consumers can also drive benefit for the smart meters. It is not only to reduce the losses and all that things, or to increase the billing efficiency and all that things, but from the consumer point of view also we have to look for how we can flatten the load curve and all that things. Now with the more RE coming, every state is trying to shift the agriculture load during the daytime by feederizing the solarization of the feeders, agriculture feeders. So there are a lot many things the states are doing, and then the transmission, definitely new technologies are coming in a big way. Thank you.
Right. Thank you so much. I'll come to Shorojit Ghosh, the Director, IT, Uttar Pradesh Power Corporation Limited. Sir, looking ahead, as I was asking the question in the previous panel, what is your analysis of leveraging emerging technologies and AI for to reach out to outcomes which are based on data analytics? Your thoughts on that, especially for power companies?
Good afternoon, gentlemen and ladies. Thanks for inviting me to this August session with my eminent panel. And we have heard a lot from our earlier speakers, but coming to the question of AI, I will say basically before you embark on the journey of AI, there are certain ground stacks or brass stacks you have to set right. Without that, the AI is a long way forward. I mean, talking AI and ML and deep learning and all that is a buzzword. Yesterday, we had a session with the Chief Secretary of UP where one of the leading stalwarts, Dr. Shivi Chaturvedi, was there, and the total ministry was there for listening to her on the AI implementations. As regards UP state, you know, it's one of a very large state with almost 33 million consumers. Now, the first challenge is we are running 3 different billing systems. Now, first of all, the challenge was, and we were running billing systems. When we talk on AI, you have to understand that we are running a Oracle billing system, which was of a version of 2010. You imagine, I'm stressing, when I took over as the director IT from of UPPCL, I come from a Maharatna, I was with NTPC Limited. So there we don't have this kind of challenges because we are already upgraded in most of our systems. You'll have to understand, my point was 2.2 crore systems or consumers were on other system, which was a Fluent Grid system. And my system on Oracle was a 2010 stack, which was on a COBOL stack. Now that I had to move. For that, if a system has not been upgraded for 10 years, that is a decade, my challenge was to upgrade that system first. Then I came on to CCB 2.8, which is the latest version on a Java stack. There we faced multiple challenges. Thereafter, I had to migrate the situation to my 2.2 million, 22 million consumers onto the new stack. And as I talk today, I have a challenge. You must have seen me 2-3 times. I have gone out. The challenges are I am migrating KESCO, Kanpur Electric Supply Company, as on today, and we are facing challenges because the handholding is not proper. Now I have sent my people and they are doing the handholding. Now when you come to AI, we have embarked on a journey because our systems are to be right. Whenever we talk on AI, you have to integrate with multiple systems in place. Like when you talk on AI, you have to not only your RMS system comes into position, your customer care and customer care center, the calling centers 1912 comes into picture, your social media integration comes into picture, your ERP comes into picture, your GIS systems comes into picture. So if you talk on GIS system, my GIS systems are updated 2 years back. The contact is not there. Now, even with that, what we are doing, the current AI, we are coming, basically what is happening is when you are talking on AI, this is a big time you have to do it. But for that, my main objective is to set your ground, stacks or the brass stacks in proper order. Then only you should attempt AI, because otherwise your AI will fail. And after we have embarked on that journey, and as on date, I can say might be we are only about a month or two remaining that we should be coming out with a tender on AI, whereby the analytics we are talking about, the biggest problem is the revenue collection. In UP, you will be surprised that we don't even collect revenue from more than 20 to 25%. And the evenings are mostly katia. This is a term you know in UP, and you'll be astonished that the katiyas are rampant. There is a vigilance section with a director general heading that team, with police force going to different raids across. Now we are trying to build up a AI system whereby the raids we are doing, we should be able to focus our raids whereby we can pinpoint on the raid technology that it is able to pinpoint that this is the place. My feeder is evacuating this much power, but I am not the collection, because in the daytime the collection, the outflow is this much, but in the night time it is dipping suddenly. Why it is happening? So we are bringing out an AI on my fraud and I say the theft detection. That is the main thing that we are targeting now, and we'll be shortly coming up with the RFP for AI. We are trying to build up a data lake for which we are almost prepared the RFP. We should be able to do it. But it is the need of the hour. But for that, I always say the systems are to be in place. You have to augment your systems. I have no shame in telling that my personal computers, which was given in RAP DRP, are as old as 10 years. So those things we are changing. So all your ecosystem has to be settled down first, and then we should go ahead.
Right.
Thank you up
Right.
till now.
Right.
Thank you.
2 points which you have raised. Analytics can help in revenue generation, and also it can also pinpoint where this energy theft is happening. You have given the example of Uttar Pradesh. I also stay in Uttar Pradesh, Noida. I don't have to go far away from the villages. There are some villages in Noida itself, in Greater Noida, where you can see this happening rampant. In most of the houses in those, all are theft electricity. I think government and the policymakers or the regulators or law enforcement agencies can come together and look at that. Satyajit, you heard eminent speakers from 3 different sectors of the energy ecosystem: discoms, transmission and generation as well. Do you think, or what is your opinion on how AI can help in transparent and accountability in terms of decision making for the overall management of power companies? I'll end with you. Your thoughts on that.
So, first of all, I would like to pick up, the point on setting up the brass tacks and the ground level. 3 years, probably before COVID, 2 years back, before, so it's roughly around 5 years now. I was holding a session workshop for 40 process engineers from plants, from power plants, from refineries, from multiple sector. And they were all talking about data quality not been good, censored, not working, maybe communication error happening. And so what's the use of data? So we will undertake a data quality exercise for this before embarking on AI. So they had coined up a data quality exercise. The first thing I asked is, how are you rolling out data quality without even a context in mind? Whether a data quality you are looking at from maintenance point of view, whether you are looking data quality from operations point of view, whether you are looking data quality from energy efficiency point of view, whether you are looking at from safety point of view. Because the treatment of data quality will be driven by the use case itself or the context itself. So if you want to do it outside that, then it will be an age-on process. You will never come out of it alive. That is one thing that I want to share with you, that when we are looking at readiness of the data, we don't know what is bad, what is good. Okay? Unless and until we apply analytics on top of it, that unless and until we do a health check for a specific context. That is what I would like to share, that whether we are doing meter data, whether we are doing historian data, whether we are doing vibration data. I mean, there are issues with all kinds of data. Even the most updated system, even AMI infrastructure, smart meter data will have data quality issues. But under what context, what lens we should see, that is something that I would leave a thought that we should not boil the ocean of something without trying to get the benefit of use cases that can be realized with the bad data. Because going forward, machine learning and deep learning are basically the capabilities throwing up insights, accurate insights with limited variables. So if we were able to do that in many sectors, then energy sector also should benefit out of it. Now coming to, I will go that way, revenue assurance or revenue collection, I think it is a very well-known aspect that, when we're talking about forensic of these informations, identifying anomalous behavior of customers, their payment, their, invoices, their complaints, their, delayed payment days and all, you could very well build up a model that will target that this set of customers are basically having, sudden drops, unexplainable. I have done an exercise similar. I found that 23% of the houses, when I gave that list that these are the accounts or customer accounts that you should inspect, when they went to the field, they could not trace the house itself. Okay? So that means, there are people who are paying, but there are, the details of the houses and all cannot be traced in on the ground. So there are many challenges that this will bring up in the setup. But if you would have done the bottom-up approach that I want to know who the persons, where all my properties are not matched on ground, then you have to do a ground-to-ground survey match with your indexes, you will never come out of it alive. But where it is hitting you is here. You could look at it from that standpoint. The other thing that on the generation side that we are looking at it is, generation has probably the best of the data, I will call it, because they had SCADA very well established, they have historians very well established, they have condition monitoring, they have got process data, plant maintenance data. So where we are looking at from an application of AI point of view is that one is increasing the availability, because this is something that is very, very critical. Second is obviously the fuel demand. Where fuel demand is, whether it is a coal or whether it is a combined gas cycle, one needs to be able to look at the heat rate and then the demand that is required, the fuel demand, because obviously sourcing of coal, we know what challenges in India we have of coal logistics. We know how, if it's a combined gas cycle, how natural gas or a diesel or crude oil fired will have challenges going forward. So for us to really look at it, leveraging these elements of data which is there from SAP or Oracle or whichever is, whether smart meter or Pi Historian, I think it is very, very important to immediately identify the analytics use cases, AI use cases for 2024, 2025 that you can embark. I'm doing an exercise for one of the industry members, global industry members. They have identified 127 use cases of AI to be implemented in 2024. Now their state also is pretty much similar, but they need to go ahead to this to do the necessary corrections that are required parallelly, whether it is establishing a right cyber setup, whether it is the right IT/OT framework, whether they need to upgrade anything, whether they need to have a central Pi, whether they need to migrate it. All this will come up when you drive it from the top down, rather than waiting for the bottom to get corrected and then coming up to the top, which I think may be not the best way that we have experienced.
Right. I think Satyajit has touched upon a very important aspects of how AI can help in all the 2-3 segments of the power ecosystem and relevance of data analytics in today's age. No one can shy away from that. Thank you so much. We are running behind the time, so I won't take much time. I will again like to thank all the eminent speakers who have been part of this panel discussion. Sanil C. Namboodiripad, MD ONGC Tripura Power Company Limited, Sunil Agarwal, Director Projects, Bihar Power Transmission Company Limited, Shourojit Ghosh, Director IT, UP Power Corporation Limited, and Satyajit Dwivedi from SAS. Thank you so much for all of you for joining us today. I request Mr. Bhuya, if you can kindly come on stage for once and hand over a small token of appreciation to all our eminent speakers. Can we have the speaker mementos on stage, please? We can start with Sanil C. Namboodiripad, MD ONGC Tripura Power Company Limited. Sunil Agarwal from Bihar Power Transmission Company. And to Satyajit Dwivedi, Regional Director EMEAP, Energy Utilities, Mining and Metals, Public Sector, SAM. Thank you so much, all of you, for joining us today for this session. Don't go anywhere. Now we have a special presentation on transformative synergy, advancing sustainability and energy security through AI innovation.